Diaries. Will actor meets your heart. Divorce Diaries. It's a brand new start.
Welcome to Divorce Diaries. I'm here with the most amazing person that I want to cook for me every day. She is a Bravo celebrity. She is an amazing chef. Top Doctor magazine calls her a health crusader. I'm obsessed with her from watching Below Deck. The very talented, the very amazing chef Tzarina Mace-Ralph. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. I first of all, I followed the show for so long, Below Deck, and like when you came on, I was like, oh, she's a kick-ass chef. And I researched some of like the thoughts on you. I already knew that no one ever gave a bad complaint on season 3. By the way, you were on Below Deck under season 2 and 3, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but season 3 was my kind of my way of being like, and now I step out, bow out, because it was my goal, my first season, to be the first chef in Below Deck history not to have a guest complaint when it comes to the tip meetings. And my first season, I got one complaint from a girls group, but my second season,
Yeah.
I managed to get through the whole season without a complaint.
And I will say
So
that
chef
like
Below Deck history, and I was really proud of myself. I was like, and seen, and this is when I retire.
yeah. Well, also you worked with the worst. I'm sorry. You know I'm from Jersey. I'm Brad. That guy that they had with your sous chef, that was clearly for just like he sucked. Screw him. I want to be like,
felt
you were
like
there
it.
booted.
I remember the first moment he opened his mouth, I was like, am I being set up? Like, is this a real person, or is this an actor that they just pay to come in and be an absolute wanker? Like, I just...
Right. And we're going to talk about that with reality TV because I've been in some runnings for reality shows, and like, so we'll come down to being a single mom and not being able to leave you for 6 weeks. It's like, all right. But I thought that guy on, if you guys have not watched Below Deck under season 2 and 3, Tzarina is amazing. I mean, season 2 had some really amazing stuff with female empowerment with Aisha. I mean, that was intense. What is with these dudes and their egos? Like both season 2 and season 3, there were some characters on there. I forgot the guy's name who got kicked off on season 2, but I wanted to kick him in his balls for his behavior. That's my opinion.
That's why they get hired, because I do sometimes sit back and think, like, how do they pass the psych test? You know? Like how?
I've dated some police officers that have to take psych tests, and I don't think they pass. I think they have to go through a lot.
But at the same time, when you're a perfectly structured narcissist, you can get through anything, you know?
Exactly.
That's the hard part about it. So
right. And I think that's a lot of why I think viewers connected with you, and with my brand, Divorce Diaries, a little different than Below Deck. I love watching because people like you who share feelings about self-love and relationships and their past and how it connects with what's going on in a situation like Below Deck, where you're in close quarters, you have to work and you party together too. And it's like you're dealing with these different personalities and your own crap. And I really appreciated a lot of your storylines in your past about being a woman, finding your own path, being an advocate for both body, mind health. So we're going to get into that in a second, but I wanted to ask you, how did you get casted in Below Deck? So how did that come about?
I had actually just left a boat and I was on my way to Mexico, and my friend B tagged me in one of the casting things, I think on Facebook or something, being like, sorry, you should totally do this, because I just stepped off a boat. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder, if I should get another job or not. And so under the what she wrote, like, Tzarina, you should do this. I think I wrote something stupid like, these bitches aren't ready for me. And within 10 minutes, my phone was just like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
But they wanted me for about 2 or 3 years. I wasn't ready. And they wanted me for sailing and other ones. And they wanted me for the first Down Under, but I just couldn't do it. I was not in the headspace. And anytime big opportunities come up, I always message my therapist being like, am I ready for it? And I take guidance from her. And then suddenly I was ready for it. And I got a phone call at the perfect time. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you in a few weeks.
I love that you just said therapy and reality TV. So I got called a couple times. I've never gotten cast to the end, but they were like, you and your daughter would be on this divorce reality show where you try to like live with a bunch of divorcees and their kids. This was right before the pandemic. And I was like, should I do this? Is this good? Like, I'm an actor and a comedian. Like, I want to be on television, but then I'm like, at what length? So, what was the hardest part? Like, you saying like about being on reality TV, and also like, were you very nervous about that? Like, I was thinking like, well, it's going to go one or two ways. People gonna love or hate me. What goes on in your head before you started season 2?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous, but at the same time, I've now gone through bigger things in my life, being a neurodivergent woman, and a female chef as well. Like all odds have been against me. So I was kind of like, well, it can it get any worse than some of the things I've been through in in the restaurant industry.
Right,
But obviously the difference is that you have cameras in your face
right.
and therefore 24 hours. So it's you do worry and you do panic more about like, oh God, like should have I said that? And then it keeps you up late at night, especially with the ADHD brain of like, oh,
Okay.
like, will they show that? And blah, 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 blah. Then you get the anxiety for almost a year of editing afterwards of you
Ugh.
don't know what they're going to show. And that's actually the biggest roller coaster for me personally is even like the things that you think that they will show, they actually end up maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
And the bits that you don't even think about that you've forgotten because you didn't think it was, even a thing,
Right.
then, they put this dramatic music over it and make it into a
Ugh,
big deal. Like
I
I think
know.
one day, like I just dropped my knife on the floor, like I'm a chef, we're on a rocking boat, I drop my knife all the time. And
Yeah.
I just picked it up, washed it off, sterilized
Yeah.
it, carried on cooking. But because I think there was a wave on the boat and the deck crew was struggling with, keeping the lines on and stuff, they then turned to the galley and like you see my knife swing across and it's like,
Yeah.
and they're like, when did that happen? Like,
Right. And I think that's a big, I feel like the misconception of reality TV, and it's not a bad thing. There is some scripted elements of like in editing, you got to make it look like it's juicy in a way. And I think that
yeah.
there's no harm in that, but it's also like, damn, I didn't make it look, I didn't know that was as dramatic as it was. Is there a coping method you have with that? Because you spoke openly about your ADHD, and
Mm.
I have, my daughter has ADHD. I'm very certain I am undiagnosed and I have my own type C mom moments, as they call, like where I'll
Well,
wash
she
the
got it from
dishes.
somewhere. So
100%. And I do exactly. And I also do believe that like, it just, as I guess I get older, I feel like it gets worse sometimes. So I'm like, I had what, and with anxiety and ADHD, I have anxiety. And if I love being on television, but if I was on reality TV thinking about this for a year of editing, what do you do to cope with it? Like to handle it and be just like thinking it from a positive lens.
So I've had a few strategies because it's been 3 years now. So when I'm in the field, they're amazing about this. I can basically talk to my therapist whenever I like. I just have
Mm-hmm.
to signal to them and be like, I need to go to the bathroom, talk to my therapist. Like I'm getting a bit rocky. And then afterwards, I up my therapist in that year of editing. And then I also do hypnotherapy. But on top of that, while it's airing, which really helps, my personal assistants or my managers, I give them the logins for my social media. They
I
go into everything for me and kind of like get rid of the
love
bad
that.
things for me and just or they'll just be like, Tzarina, go to a cabin this weekend, like we know it's going to be a hard episode, like just go, like have a breather and then we'll get on it. It's just kind of managing with a team of people and having
Yeah.
you have to have your cheerleaders behind you, otherwise going through it alone is really really difficult.
I love that. So having the team and the tools. And
Yeah.
I think that the social media component, although it can be great for business, it also could be the catch 22 of business and personal life. So giving somebody else your username and password, I thought of that. I don't have like a team of people yet, but like I have a good friend. I'm like, if anything ever happened,
Who's
I'm
a
just gonna,
friend?
yeah, I feel like you got to have that one person. Like my daughter is a competitive gymnast and
Wow.
she needs she wants to go to D1 school and she has Instagram, but doesn't want people to know. And I'm like, but you need to, because I don't want people to find me. And it's a
Yeah.
catch 22. So
Yeah,
I handle
because
all of it.
you're always fine as well. It's always 50-50. Even if you have, let's say, a great season, you're still going to have 50% great and 50% bad. And also I found as well, I'm not going to mention who, but they know who they are.
Yeah.
on both my seasons, I had some bad eggs, and I know that they paid Russian companies to on purpose send horrible abuse, and but you can tell that they're almost like robots types, like very horrible, mean comments and go into your DMs, and you can hire them for a very cheap price. And so sometimes when you got not a very nice personality working with you, that
Yeah.
they do have the option to do that.
Uh,
So you have to keep in mind as well, like some of these things aren't real.
Yeah, some of them, the internet is crazy. It can do crazy things. All right, so I watched both of your seasons, and you got to work with Captain Jason, obviously a hot captain. We're all like, oh, but you're a hot chef. I mean, you're a hot female chef. My boyfriend's brother loves you, by the way. Mikey is gonna kill me.
Oh, that's nice.
I know you're in a relationship, but he was like, she is gorgeous and beautiful. I just want to let you know, you got a lot of amazing people. I liked Aisha's one of my favorite head
Oh,
stews of right.
yeah,
Everyone loves her.
she's something.
She's
Like,
just
an
got
absolute
empathy.
honor to work with that woman. Yeah, and the way that she composes herself is incredible. I found her so inspiring, and just so lucky that I even got to share a cabin with her as well and have that extra closeness. Yeah, she carried me my first season. And
She's
she's
just